Hello, are we live?
We are live. Hi, everybody.
Hello, hello. Welcome to our little Mammoth Monthly hangout and stream. Just
Yes.
trying to. Oh, there we go. Audio feedback, not necessary. Okay, there we go. Technical difficulties aside, thank you. Welcome for joining us. I'm Dav, founder, uh, leader of Mammoth Factory, I guess, with Lucas here, head of operations and writer and amazing man.
Yeah.
And we are starting the stream. And today we're going to be discussing the Feast of the Dam and the Infernal Conclave. And we're going to be discussing about next month's as well. We're going to be showing some painted minis. We're going to explain what the sets, what are the stories, what is the lore, some showing some cool battle maps and some renders and some all sorts
Renders.
of goodies. And we have a cool trailer to show you. Do we have it? Yes? We have it ready?
Yes.
Okay. Hit it. Are we ready?
Racked by famine and drought, the town of Mason has seen better days. With the prayers of its people unanswered from on high, some seek out salvation from below, and the devils of the Inferno are more than willing to answer. Two infernal cults fight for power over the town's desperate inhabitants, each seeking to claim every living soul in the settlement for their own. Will the cults be stopped in time, or the town be turned into a feast of the damned?
And so we're going to discuss a little bit about the adventure and so show some painted minis. We showed a little bit last month, but we're going to show it a little bit again and show some battle maps and some other things. And my computer, there we go. Wait a minute. Oop.
We're doing it
Okay,
live.
my stream has gone crazy. Sorry. There we go. Okay, so Lucas, tell me
Yeah.
about how did you design a lower level, relatively lower level, 5, 6, I think it is, right?
Yeah.
Demon adventure. How do you make that work? What's interesting about this adventure?
Yeah. It was at the beginning a bit of a challenge because we knew we wanted to have like these two demon lords facing off, but at the same time it not being like super epic. So what we decided to do is that all of this takes place in this small town called Mason, in which there's currently a famine and there are these two faction and two religious cults that have sprung up that both tell the population they have like the salvation, the cure to stop or survive that famine. And you come in there to
Right.
investigate that, and you realize both of these sides are a bit weird, where you have the one side which is like very pagan, and it says like if we return to the old days of sacrifices, we can have like plenty abundance of food and everything. And you have this other side which is connected to the church, which is like, no, have to be stoic and just refuse to eat and become stone, and that is how we'll survive. And slowly, while you go through the city, you realize both of these cults are actually led by demons who want to take over the city, and this then slowly escalates and becomes more extreme as then fighting becomes open, and you have to somehow navigate all that.
Amazing, amazing. I mean, it was really definitely, I remember kind of discussing all the different kind of push and pulls of this of like, oh, we want them to come and that is not just hell on earth, right? The demons flying everywhere.
Yeah.
So you come in and you're kind of slowly starting to pick up on like, oh, there's this hellish thing and there's this hellish thing, and oh, this is the church. Are they pretending? Is this meat
Yeah.
gonna turn me into demon? Like there's all these kind of things. Really, really, really great. So what are the two factions? If we're talking about these two different factions, what makes them different? What makes them interesting?
Yeah, as I said, like there are the one faction which is this more pagan, old ritualistic kind of cult, and they follow what we've called the Herald of Plenty, which is just one of my favorite models because it just looks like a demonic Jabba the Hutt with these people coming out of it, and he's like this symbol of
Jabba the Fat.
change.
There we go. Here he is.
There we go. This symbol of change, but also like, yeah, excess and maybe a bit of cannibalism in there. And they live outside of the city. And so if you want to fight that side, you really have to go out into his domain, which is this campsite. And with this big tent, and Dav, you had that amazing idea where if you enter that tent, what do you actually enter?
Right. So, I mean, we wanted to do something where, it's a big demon lord fight, but they're also trying to like summon it. Is it there? Is it not there? How do we make it feel like there's something at stake? So we thought, wouldn't it be cool if the actual tent is his belly? It's like his belly domain. So you're there, and there's all these acid juices, and it's consuming you, and it can show up coming from the wall, like stretching skin like a demon. If you guys saw
Uh,
what's the name of that movie? I
you,
forget.
you had it in
Uh,
Matrix, was like the first one.
Yes, Matrix did it as well, but there was also the other movie. Anyway, so yeah, demons coming through stretched skin, kind of like a portal thing, and it's really a great fight. I mean, we playtested it also on our Discord with some of our patrons. It was, it's pretty disgusting and amazing. Um, anyway, so and what's the other boss fight like?
Yeah, and the other one we wanted to contrast it. So we have this like, yeah, flesh and excess, and the other side is then symbolized by the eidolon, which is this going to stone to tradition. It is much less out there as demons go. So maybe first you would actually side with the church and with that stone cult, but they are very much this, like we have this idea of entropy, that they just want everything to stop. And if you follow them too long, you might turn into these stone-cursed gargoyles that for most of the time they cannot move, they don't exist. Sure, they do not age, but they lose everything that is humanity. And that is then the other cool fight, which is actually just on this doorstep because it is within Mason. It is in the church. You can, if you play the adventure, you could access it any time. And there at the end of the church, you see this large statue of a storm god that they worship. But in reality, that is just an illusion. And behind that is this, yeah, this ancient evil that you will have to fight, which is scary because from a design point, we want to make sure like it isn't fast, but again, because it's lower level, you have to like be very clever what you do with it, because when it gets you with like one punch, it could just finish you off.
Nice, nice. Well, that's Infernal Conclave. You can get that on our Patreon, obviously. We're very proud of it. It's a great adventure.
Yeah.
And swiftly moving to our next month's April's release, we're very, very excited to reveal that we're going to do for the first time, we're going to be doing a second take on one of our previous releases. So this is Wild Hunt 2. It was one
Sequel
of our most
time.
requested by poll, by favorite demand, by so many things. People have asked for it over and over and over again. So here you go. We did it. And this, there's a few reasons why we did this. The first thing is because everybody wants continuations of things they like, obviously, and we just wanted to make a big forest dragon as well. And like, there's all sorts of reasons why to do this, but one of the main reasons is also because people like playing wargaming, and they wanted to have our first set expanded into a wargamable army. Um, so we have extended that first one into the second one to making it more armyable, and we might even add some more models at some point. But we're very happy with that as well. The adventure is not a continuation of last time. However, it is the same lore from the perspective of the base lore, but the story is set, I think it's 100 years later or something like
Yeah.
that. Um, and so there are similar elements and some returning characters, but the story is completely standalone. Also, I think level 5, 6, if I'm not
Yeah, that
mistaken.
one's for level
Um,
6. Yeah.
exactly. So, what is Vows of Spring, and why? What vows? Why vows? What is this? What does this mean?
What does it mean? Yeah, it has a bit of two meanings, because one thing is we just came from like Demon Set, which is quite brutal, very gritty, and so we wanted to have something that is a bit more, yeah, lighthearted and positive. And because going just back just very slightly to Wild Hunt 1, where this is very much about the tension between these Sylvoth elves that are in this enchanted, fey-touched forest, and the humans outside, and the conflict that they're having. And this one is now about the reconciliation progress, where there's actually a marriage that is happening, which is one of the reasons why it's called Vows. And it is between a human from the outside and an elf who have fallen in love. And they want to have the marriage symbolize like a reawakening of an old oath, when humans and elves used to at least coexist together. And that's where that name comes from. But of course, there are some of the Silver Elves, especially led by the Conclave Prince, which is a beautiful model, beautiful render, who wants to make sure by any cost that that marriage does not happen. A, because he might be a bit jealous, but also B, because he wants to make sure no human ever comes into that forest and wants to break up this, this marriage.
Nice. Yeah, this kind of ancient pact between human and elves is always really fun. It's also a little bit the kind of throwback to the previous adventure, right? The previous story, which is
Mhm.
um, that the elves and the humans made the pact a long time ago that the humans won't hunt monsters, and they won't go beyond a certain line or that kind of thing. But it's hilarious because the elves obviously remember because the elves live, for a long time, but the humans obviously forgot because empires fall and come up and come down, but so the elves are still keeping the pact, and the humans broke the pact. So that they broke the pact in the last adventure, and now it's kind of a rekindling of that. And also, what a fun way to do a wedding as part of an adventure. So we're very proud of that. It's such a joyous occasion, or is it? So next up, what so as the players get in there, because either their friend is the wife that was kidnapped or the husband that was kidnapped, there's a few ways to do it, and it's kind of a bit more of a sandboxy adventure. What kind of challenges do they face? Does the forest give them as a challenge? Like, what kind of things do they do?
Yeah, because the thing that happens is that at the wedding night, like there are a lot of cliches in there, which was so fun to do. So because of course at the wedding night, both the groom and the bride get kidnapped and get spirited away. So the first thing you have to do is just find out who has taken them, where they've gone. So already you have to now go into this forest, you have to find these sages. They could either be, you might find a unicorn somewhere who's like this ancient being that knows everything that is happening in the forest, but you first have to find it and persuade it. Or you might go to the Lady of the Lock, which is one of these returning characters who knows all of the things that happened, especially long in the past. And they can tell you about this oath, and you understand, oh, this marriage means much more than we thought. But then also, you at the end, you realize that there is this heart of the forest, the heart of Gwyll, And this is like an ancient place that overlaps with like the Fey realm, and that is where the bride has been taken. But humans or non-silver elves cannot enter. So you first have to go to the different places. One is a maze where there is Lord Ironwood, this ancient tree end, that on the back is like one of my favorite sculpts. It has these rune stones that are this ancient oath. So he is carrying literally the oath into the present, and you have to talk to him, you have to convince him that you are willing to abide by the oath. You won't kill elves, even though throughout you will find these wilky riders, you find the trackers that are ambushing you, and you have to find ways to fight them without killing them, because otherwise the treant and others will not help you. And that's why this sandboxy thing that happens, and it's very interactive. And at the end, all the paths will lead to the heart of Gwil, where there's
Beautiful.
one more model that I
What?
think, Dav, you can talk about, right?
Yes, so the primordial dragon is kind of, it's not the main reason we're doing the set, but it's definitely a big drive. And sadly, we don't have the painted one, but we do have the concept art, which is very beautiful. I think we have the render as well. The model is just being finalized in its supports. Look at that concept art. That
Ah,
concept art is fantastic. By Beto Lima, our
yeah.
amazing artist. So yeah, we've made this beautiful mini and dragon. And so what is this dragon? What makes it kind of interesting? How did it come to be? And what is the actual combat that happens with this big boss fight showdown?
Yeah. Thing is, right, that's a bit of the thing. You have this fae, you have these elves. So a dragon at the first time might seem a bit from the left side, but this is actually like an ancient being, the primordial dragon, which is an embodiment of the elves' grief and terror that they had throughout the centuries, from a time where they were fighting dragons, but then also like as this oath with the humans broke down and fighting happened, like the pain that they had, and yeah, and the sorrows got channeled into this being that then manifested in the Fey world as this primordial dragon. And now the thing that happened is because the bride was kidnapped and taken away into the heart of the forest, which is a place where his spirit is still resting. He now has this vessel of this bride who thinks that maybe her fiancé might be dead or worse, and is grieving, angry, wants revenge. And because of that, she becomes a vessel for the dragon, which has then this fun thing where once you realize that and you enter the heart of Gwil, you have this choice where, yes, you need to fight the dragon, but you also don't want to kill him, because if you do, there's the chance that you kill the bride that is literally inside of him and is now making up his heart. And we play tested that recently, and it was like one of the most epic things that I'd seen, because the fighter, when it was low enough, he was like, do I see her? And he had to make some perception rolls, and then he saw her like in this kind of bud that is closed, and he just said, I'm jumping in there. And he charged in there, ripped her open, and like ripped the heart of the dragon out, with him slowly collapsed. And so it is this thing where, yeah, you're fighting a dragon, but you're not just fighting a dragon. You have to be smart about it. And there's that one small thing where if you roll really bad and things don't happen exactly how you wanted, there's a chance that that spirit might enter you as well. So there's always this balance to have.
Nice, nice, beautiful. So here we're throwing up a little stat block for you guys to see. For those of you who don't know, I think probably most people watching this don't know do know, but yeah, we released these adventures, these elaborate adventures that we playtest with our community, again on our Discord, but also internally. And we release them with paper minis and VTT tokens and Foundry conversions and all those goodies, and everything is play tested, over play tested nearly. We take it very seriously. Anyway, with that, thank you very much. Happy Rampage, everybody. Happy Easter, and we'll see you next month.
Have a good one, everybody. Bye bye.
Bye bye.